Hello and welcome to session 5 of using VBA in PowerPoint 2013 from the ground up. Today we are going to talk about variables and we'll see how to work with variables and we'll spend more time on hands-on, right? So without doing much ado, let's get into the Vba editor where we'll do hands-on. Okay, alright. To get into the Vba editor, press Alt F11. Once you are into the editor, you will see these various windows here. Here your project will be listed. If you are not able to see the project window, go to view and enable project explorer from here. You can also include properties window. You'll get the properties window here. Okay, so to add code, you need the code window. The first thing that we need to do is to insert a module. To insert a module, we'll right click on the project, then we'll go to insert and click on module. So once we add a module, we'll see the code window appear here. So let's talk about our topic today, which is working with variables. Now I will tell you how to use variables while coding with VBA in PowerPoint 2013. As we know that variables are containers which contain same type of data and varies with the value that they contain throughout the procedure, right? Okay, so let's start a subroutine. So let's say sub working with variables. Okay. So we have our sub work var. To declare a variable, you write dim x. This dim x says that x is a variable. Now, if we want to assign a data type to this variable x, we write as dim x as integer. Suppose we want x as an integer. Similarly, let us declare two other variables y and z. So we write dim y as integer and dim z also as integer. Okay, so we have declared three variables x, y and z. All are integer variables. So now let's see a simple calculation where we can use these variables. Let us assign some values to these variables initially. Let's say x is equal to 10, y is equal to 15. So now we have x which equals to 10, then we have y which equals to 15. Suppose we want to get the addition of these two, right? So we can say z equal to x plus y. Now z will contain the value that we will get after adding x and y. So let's run this subroutine and see what we get. Since we do not have any output written here, we have just written some input statements. There is no output statement. So let us run it in step in mode, which is accessible from here. If you go to debug, you'll see this step in, this F8. What step in does is it runs each of the lines individually one by one, right? Alright, so let's use F8 to run the program that you have written and see the output. Okay, so if I press F8, it starts from the name of the subroutine, then it goes to x equal to 10. See, they have skipped the three declarations that we have done because those are not going to be executed, those are just declarations. So right now if you hover your mouse over x, you'll see that x is equal to 0. That's the initial value that was given to x when it was declared. But when you run this line of code x equal to 10, you press F8 again, then the value of x changes to 10, right? Similarly, we'll run y equal to 15 again, press F8 and it gives the value of 15, right? Now we are going to execute the statement z is equal to x plus y. Press F8 again. Now when you hover your mouse over z, you'll see it's giving a value of 25, which is 10 plus 15 or x plus y, right? So let's write an output statement where we'll see the output of this calculation. So let's get a message box C, right? Now when you run the program, you will get the output as a message box. So you don't have to go into step in mode again. You can just directly run the program from here. You can press F5 or click on this button here. See, it gives me the value 25, right? Okay. Now let us see how we can use the variables in the context of PowerPoint 2013. We'll try to work with a couple of shapes in PowerPoint 2013, and it will give you more insights to how to use variables, right? So let's go to our PowerPoint. Let us insert one more slide here, right? Let's insert a shape. Let's take a rectangle. Let's put it here. Okay, let's color it a little bit so that it looks good. Okay, you can see this. All right, let's write some code and see how we can use variables with this shape. Okay, so let's go back to our code window. Let's restore this Vba Editor so that we can have a better look. Okay, here now you can see the PowerPoint slide as well as the code that we write. So right now we do not need the project window or the properties window, so let's remove them. Okay, so let's write a new subroutine. It says, let's name it as working with shapes. Okay, all right. So the first thing that we want to do is to reposition this shape into a particular place where we want it to be, right? Right now we do not know where this shape is. We want to keep it in a particular location. All right, so let's find out where exactly the shape is located right now in the slides, right? So let's put a message box where it will show us the name and the location of the shape. So let's write message box. It should contain the name of this shape that we have here, right? So we write active presentation dot slides, and we'll consider the fourth slide here. You see, slide number 1, 2, 3 and 4th. Okay, so this is the 4th slide, so we'll write 4 here. Then dot shapes, so we know that there is only one shape in this, so we'll write 1, right? And we'll say dot name, so it will give us the name of the shape, right? So let's run it and check what happens. It says rectangle 1, right? Okay, so this shape's name is rectangle 1. All right, now let's also see where it is located. With location we mean the distance of this corner, this extreme top left corner of this shape from these edges, from the top edge and from the left edge, right? So there are two properties of this shape called top, which says at what distance the shape is located from the top edge, and the other one is left, which says at what distance it is located from this left edge, right? So the two properties are top and left. So let's try and find out the location of this shape. So let us include the information in the same message box. So we'll go to the next line. We'll say and VBCR. This VBCR is an inbuilt constant which takes you to the next line in the message box, right? Then we say underscore. Underscore tells the compiler that this line of code is not complete and is continued to the next line that where I am typing. So let's write active presentation dot slides. Again, we're concerned about slide number 4 dot shapes, first shape dot top. So this will give us the value of the distance from the top edge, right? So you need the left also, VBCR and underscore active presentation dot slides .4 dot shapes shape1 dot left. So this message box will give us 3 data points. One, the name of the shape, then the top and left numbers of the shape. So let's run and find out. So when we press F5, it says rectangle 1, 54 and 56, which means 54 pixels is the distance between the edge of the rectangle to the edge of the slide, right, top, and 56 pixels is the distance between the left edge of the slide and the left edge of the rectangle, right? Okay, now we want to put this rectangle in our preferred position, right? So let us say that we have two variables. Let us declare those two variables, dim I top as integer, dim I left as integer. So I'm going to assign a value to I top and I left as per our preference. So let's say I top is equal to 200 and I left is equal to 300. Okay, now we are going to assign these numbers to this rectangle. So we'll say active presentation dot slides dot shape dot top should be our I top, and similarly the left number should be our I left, right? Okay, let's see what happens when you run this. Go to run and say run sub. So it gives the name, top and the present left of the rectangle. You say OK, and it pushes it to our places. Let's run it once more and find out if it has brought the rectangle to the right position where we wanted it to be, right? So let's run it once more. Press F5. Let's see, it says top 200 and left 300, right? Alright, now this is where we have used variables I top and I left to reposition our rectangle here. Okay, now suppose we do not want this I top and I left to be fixed. We want the user to input the values. So let's ask the user to input the values as per their preferences. Okay, so let's say I top equal to input box, enter top value, right? We'll not write anything more. Okay, again I left equal to input box, enter left value. Now the user will give us the I top and I left values, which will assign to the rectangle here. Okay, so we are going to write the same 2 lines of code here again. We are not going to use the immediate window right now, so let's close that also. Now let's see what happens. The initial message box will tell us where exactly the rectangle is located right now, and then we are going to ask the user to input the I top and I left values, and those values we are going to assign to the rectangle, right? So this part where we are hard coding the values of I top and I left, comment those lines because we are not going to use them right now. Now these will not be executed. Alright, let's run the program and see what happens. Let's press F5 again. So it says rectangle 1, 200 is the top, 300 is the left value. Okay, now it says enter top value. Let's say we give the top value as something 500. It says enter left value, we say 150, we say okay. Now the rectangle has moved to a position where the top is 500 and the left is 150, right? To check whether it has come to the right position, let's run this message box once more. Let's press F8 this time. It says rectangle 1, top 500 and left 150, right? So this is as per the input that we have provided, right? Okay. So let's end this subroutine. We are not going to use it now. So go to run and click on reset, right? Okay, now we'll see a couple of other things while working with variables. So let's go to full screen. Alright, let's add one more subroutine here. It says sub test var. So we're going to test the variables here. So I'm going to show you a couple of things which you can easily understand while working with variables, and it is important to know also. So let's quickly declare a variable dim x as integer, right? Now you see that we have two different subroutines here, test var, and in the top we have work bar, and we have declared the same variable x twice, right? So you can have the same variable name in two different subroutines. You cannot have one variable name twice in the same subroutine. Okay, all right. So let's assign a value to x. Suppose x is equal to 50. Okay, now we want to make x 100. So you can write a code which says x is equal to x plus 50. Here you will see that the initial value of x was 50, but when I execute this code, it will become 100. It will add x with 50. So here in this line we can see that we can actually use the variable to assign a value to itself, right? So let's run it once and see how the values are changing, right? So I'm using F8. So when I run this, it says x is equal to 50, right? Press F8 again. Now when I go to x, it says x is equal to 100. So wherever you have x, you just hover your mouse cursor, you'll see that the value has changed to 100, right? So let's quickly declare one more variable. Let's say dim y as integer, right? And here we say x is equal to x plus y. Can you guess what will be the value of x here? It will be 50, because right now y is unassigned. We have not assigned any value to y, so it will be 0. So when we execute this code right after the declaration and we comment out this line, the value of x will still be 50, right? Let's see. So press F8. So here we have 50. After executing this line, we still have 50, right? Okay. Now suppose we have assigned a value of 30 to y. Now if we run the code, it will say x is equal to 80, which is this 50 plus 30, right? Now we can write one more line of code which says y is equal to x plus y plus 20. Now when I run this line of code, can you guess what will be the value of y? Let's try to do it verbally, then we'll see while we run the code. So initially here we have x equal to 50, then we have y equal to 30. So we are adding up x and y to overwrite the value of x. So here value of x changes to 80. Now y still remains as 30. Here what we are doing is we are adding x, which is 80, to y, which is 30, that makes 110, and we are adding 20 more. So the total value of y right now will be 130, right? Let's see if our calculations are correct. So we'll press F8 once more. So right now we have x equal to 50 and y equal to 30. Okay. Now once we run this code, x becomes 80. Now once we run this line of code, y becomes 130. X still remains 80, but y becomes 130. Right? So in this exercise, we can see that the values that you assign to a variable can be overridden. Right? We can override the values within a procedure or subroutine. Right? Now let's do something interesting, something that you have not seen till now. Let's use a loop to see how the value in a variable varies or changes in real time when you run a code. So let's quickly add one more subroutine and check how the loop works. Alright, so we'll write sub loop variable. Okay, so what are you going to loop? We have created a text box here in our slide. Let's add some text to it. So let's say the value is 10. Okay, so the text is very small. Let's increase the size a little bit. Okay, so you can see the text now, right? Let's use a variable to change this value that this rectangle contains in a loop, right? So for this exercise we will use a simple for loop. So let's quickly declare one more variable. Let's say dim I as integer. We'll use this variable I in our for loop. The for loop is written as for I equal to 1 to 5 and next. So whatever is between for this for statement and this next statement will be executed 5 times, right? It will start at 1 and it will go till I is equal to 5. We'll talk about the loops in a later chapter. Here we are just giving an example so that you understand how a variable changes in real time, right? Let's place the rectangle somewhere here. Okay, so let's write the for loop. So in the for loop we'll write active presentation dot slides, and we'll go to slide number 4 dot shapes. We'll use the shape 1 dot text frame dot text range dot text equals to I. So we want this text to start with the value of I and loop until the value reaches 5. Initially the value of I will be 1 as we have mentioned it here, right? Okay, let's use the step in method, pressing F8, and see how the values change in real time. Okay, so when I press F8, it starts with the subroutine. When you press F8 again, it goes to the loop. F8. Here if you hover your cursor over I, you'll see the value is 1, right? We press F8 once more. See the value in the shape also changes and it becomes the value of I, which is nothing but 1. So we'll press F8 once more. See the value is changing every time I press F8. Okay, the moment I is equal to 5, it exits the loop and goes to the next line, which is ends up, right? So here you have seen how we have used variables in different ways in our procedure. We have used it to do some simple calculations. We have used it to reposition our shape, which was rectangle, and we have also used a variable to take the input from the user and pass it on to our code, can be overridden within the code. And lastly, we saw how a variable changes in real time when you used a loop to change the text of the shape that you have, right? So that's all for this hands-on tutorial on how to use variables or how to work with variables. In the next sessions we'll see how to work with constants, right? and we'll also take a look into data types. We'll see how to choose data types and how to declare different variables and constants, right? I hope this video helped you in some way. If it did, please like and share and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or any suggestions, or you have some specific problems that you are facing with PowerPoint, please contact us. Please write a comment in the comment section below. Check out our other videos in our channel. The link is provided in the description. Thanks for watching. Keep learning. Take care. Bye bye.